The RAs came knocking at the door. RA! RA! And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Peebo Lottie. Got more head than he got body. And we got A Tale of a YN, episode 1. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, let's take it back to 2019. ODU, it's my freshman year. And within the first 2 weeks, I was already on probation, at risk of losing housing, and I lost all of my scholarships. You may ask, Peebo Lottie, how did you lose all of that in the first 2 weeks? Let me explain. When you're chasing that cat, anything is possible. So, in college, my freshman year, I had 2 roommates. We had Jason and we had Derek. Me and Jason, best of buds. But me and Derek, we were too much alike. Some might even call us twins. But me and Derek, we were some dumbasses. D for dumbass. You know what me and Derek did? Me and Derek, we came to college with 2 girlfriends. One apiece, I mean. But you get the gist. And my first piece of advice to you guys, don't ever go to college with a girlfriend. But that's besides the point. Let me get to it. So, like I was saying, me and Derek, we had 2 girlfriends. They both stayed in the same dormitory as each other. Me and Derek, we stayed in the same dorm room. Terrible fucking idea. And at this point, me and my roommates, we had a pretty tight schedule. We would wake up, eat breakfast, go to the gym, hit class, smoke, eat, take a nap, back to the gym, hoop, smoke, eat, 2K, sleep, rinse and repeat. And we would do this continuously through our first week of college. And it was cool. We had our little smoke spot. Yes, we did smoke weed, which was definitely a downfall of ours. But hey, who doesn't smoke weed in college? Just don't be like me, kids. But anyways, this one day, me and Derek, can't forget Jason. Me, Derek, and Jason were leaving the gym. We just finished hooping, giving out slutty buckets. Again, say it with me, slutty buckets. And we are taking showers and about to get ready to smoke. But on this day, our girlfriends just so happened to be in our dorm rooms as we came back from the gym, as they would frequently like to visit because they were right down the street. And in this time period, we were still young. We were just, trying to do everything in our power to please our girlfriends. So, me, Jason and I, we're getting ready to head out to go do our nightly routine, our nightly smoke. And Derek's girlfriend, we're going to call her Asia. Asia, she says to Derek, why don't you guys come and smoke in our dorm room? We just smoked in there earlier and there was no problem. Now, to my knowledge, Asia wasn't lying. I was over at the dorm room a little bit earlier in the day and I witnessed and smelled the room as, they did their due. But this was a problem because this specific dorm room, it's named Rogers. And in Rogers, everywhere in the goddamn dorm smells like good old Mary J. And really, that's an issue which was the first problem of our demise. So, as we prepared to go smoke, as I rolled up, I hear Asia say, "Hey Derek, why don't you and P. Bolati come on over to our dorm and smoke in there? We just smoked in here earlier. It should be no problem." Now, me and Derek being the dickheads that we are, the only thing that was on our mind at the time was getting some coochie. And we knew if we would go spend the night at our girlfriend's house, inevitably, that's what would be happening. So what did we do? Me and Derek told Jason, "Hey, we're going to go smoke in Asia's room. We'll probably be back in the morning, and we'll just roll up and smoke an extra bone for you then." So, me and Derek gathered our belongings, grabbed our PS4s, and we headed on over to good old Rogers. Now, upon arrival, like I said, they had smoked in the room earlier, and this was a thing that really caught us up. And I'm going to tell you why. In Rogers, they had a Jack and Jill style dorm, meaning they had to share a bathroom between their neighbors. So, with them already smoking in the bathroom, their neighbors were quite annoyed with them because of this. Unbeknownst to me and Derek, we thought everything was fine. So we get there, we're laughing, we're having a great old time, preparing to have fun with our girlfriends, living the simple college life at the time. Me, I'm thinking nothing of it, I'm going with the flow. One thing about me, I'm cooler than the other side of the pillow, man. I don't even care. So they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go grab a pizza for you guys. Y'all can go ahead and smoke in our bathroom, and we'll be back." So me and Derek, we grab our belongings, grab 2 chairs, and we head in the bathroom. Turn on the shower to the hottest setting it can get so the steam would mix in with the smoke. And what do? We light the blunt, and we get high. So high that me and Derek begin to have a conversation to this day we can't remember, but we know that was one of the most important conversations of our little lives at the time. And you know what happened? Smoking. At this point, we forgot to cover the doors. So the weed smoke is seeping into the other neighbor's room. And this is where everything took a turn. So, once it started seeping through the neighbor's door, the neighbors were then irate, and they called the RAs. And the RAs came knocking at the door. "RA! RA!" And me and Derek, we're sitting there looking at each other like, holy fuck, what are we about to do? My first instinct is, "People with Lottie, you got scholarships, jump out that window, boy." I lift the window up. Derek puts his hand out and says, "Stop." Derek opens the door and he proceeds to talk to the RAs. We then let them know that we don't live here, it's our girlfriend's dorm, and that they had left to get a pizza. And from that point, the RAs took our IDs. Actually, they didn't take down shit. They took our college IDs, and they proceeded to write us up. From that point, I was a little nervous. I was a little scared. But, I just thought, hey, it's just the RAs. They're college students themselves. But next thing I did not know, the police were coming within the next 5 minutes. Again, we hear. This time, I'm a little nervous. But thank God it was just our girlfriends. And they're like, what happened? What happened? Me and Derek were trying to explain what happened. They're all in shock. Then again, police! My heart sinks to my ass. And in this moment, I knew I fucked up. First thing I did, took all the weed I had in my book bag and I flushed it down the toilet. The police comes, he steps into the room, he looks around, he says, I don't think there's any weed in here. I don't smell anything. Thank God. Because what? Me and Derek, dumbass, forgot to flush the blunt. And it was sitting right there on the dresser. From that point, my heart was still in my ass. Because I just knew I was going to jail. And what did I do? I took my belongings, I went to my girlfriend's room, and I went to sleep. Because I thought it was all a dream. But the next morning I woke up, I had an email from Old Dominion University stating that I would be on probation, 3 types of probation, and that I would have 2 weeks to appeal this notice. And the thing was, we knew we were dead wrong. And from that point, we were kind of fucked. Me and Derek ended up losing our scholarships that we had just obtained. I ended up having to tell my parents that within the first week of college, I was about to get kicked out because I was smoking weed in the dorm room. And why was this all happening? Because me and Derek were trying to chase that cat. Moral of the story, kids. Don't chase the coochie. Keep your head in the books.